Hi, I'm Felicia. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Friday the 13th, February 13th. I hope that's not a bad omen because I'm already very nervous. I'm right about to go in to get some fetal monitoring at my maternal fetal medicine doctor, and I just have this horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I actually feel kind of like sick to my stomach. I'm just so nervous about this. I don't necessarily expect it to go well today, and so just being a realist here, but I made it. I'm at the hospital. I just parked. I have a really great view from the top of this parking structure, so that's a plus. Anyway, I'm gonna go in and see the doctor now, and I will let you know how it goes and what the results are for today. I have about 10 more minutes. I actually think the stress test is going well. So I just saw the maternal fetal medicine doctor today, again, for the second time this week. I went alone because my husband and daughter are sick. I actually surprisingly feel better, physically anyway, today. I thought the appointment was going pretty well at first. They started me off by doing what's called a stress test. They put bands on my belly and they were monitoring the baby's heart rate, looking for decelerations or moments of excitement. And he was steady the entire time, which I thought was a good sign, but they would have expected to see more increases. And then I had an ultrasound, and unfortunately the hydrops has gotten worse since a few days ago. It's actually more than doubled, and it's also now in his heart. There's fluid around his heart. It's very unlikely that the hydrops is going to miraculously get better. It's going to continue to get worse because of the high mortality risk. The doctor did recommend me to be admitted to the hospital. It's my choice if I want to be admitted to the hospital, and if I want any sort of intubation or resuscitation for the baby. And so I said I need to think about it. I need to go home and I need to talk to my husband. It's his baby too. I can't make this decision by myself. If I don't go to the hospital and I decide to stay home this weekend, the baby could die in utero, and I would be delivering a stillborn baby. Do I want to deliver him early and have the NICU try to save him, or do I let things happen naturally? Do I want to prolong suffering? Frankly, I don't want to go to the hospital. I want to be comfortable in my home with my family. If I go to the hospital, it doesn't mean they're going to deliver him right away necessarily. It would be for me to be monitored, to monitor the baby from the hospital. That way, if there is a sudden heart deceleration, they can intervene right away. Whereas if I were home, they would know about that. I wouldn't know about that, and it would lead to fetal demise, most likely. This is a really big decision. Well, my husband and I had a very thorough conversation about what we were going to do, and we've come to the decision I will continue outpatient care and I will not be admitted to the hospital. At least at this point, that's not what we're going to do. And there are a lot of reasons behind this decision. Comfort, for one. Logistics, for another. I mean, my husband could take a leave of absence from work and all of that, so that's not necessarily an issue that, he can still have paid time off and everything. But I'd have a really hard time being away from my daughter for that long. And of course they could come visit, but it's different. Being in a hospital, I feel like it wouldn't be good for my mental health. Especially because who knows how long I would be there. It could be weeks. It could be months, depending on how long they decided to wait to deliver. I'm 29 weeks and 3 days pregnant today. And so I still have a ways to go before I'm full term. I am past the point of viability, so if they did deliver him today and he were a healthy baby, then he would still have a good chance. But unfortunately, he's not a healthy baby. He's a very sick baby. And the most likely outcome is that over the next few days or so, his heart's probably going to stop beating. And I fully understand the risk of staying home. He's most likely going to be stillborn. But the alternative doesn't seem better. If I were admitted to the hospital, I'd be on continuous monitoring. They would do an emergency C-section once his heart starts to decelerate, and he would be preterm with severe hydrops and Trisomy 21 and a severe heart defect. And all of these things complicate his prognosis. It makes it very poor. And he'll probably have a very difficult time in the NICU. We won't be able to hold him because of the skin edema. And he's going to be hooked up to ventilators and feeding tubes and probably some shunts. They're going to try to drain the fluid from his lungs. But it's around his heart now. And I don't know, even with heroic measures, they'd be able to save him. And I think, in a way, it's selfish if we go that route, because we're going to prolong his suffering. I think it'll be much more peaceful if he's in my womb when it happens. And I know we won't get to meet him alive, but he won't know pain. He'll only know love. I have another child to consider too, my 3-year-old, and I think this is going to be the less traumatic experience for her as well. I'll just have to be mindful of symptoms in my own body because I could develop something called mirror syndrome, which could lead to preeclampsia. And so there are risks to me, but I'm pretty good about listening to the signs of my body, and if I start to feel anything like that, I'll go to the hospital for my own safety. This wasn't an easy decision, but I feel good about it. I think we've done what we can to give our son a chance. When we first found out the diagnosis, of course, my doctors all recommended termination, or at least offered it, I should say. They never pushed it on me, but they always gently let me know what my options were. And for me, that wasn't an option. I was going to give my son a chance. And if it was just trisomy 21 and the heart defect, I probably would go to the hospital if they thought that he needed to be delivered early, but the hydrops really complicates things. It makes things a lot worse. I just think his outcome is not going to be good, even if he did survive initially after birth. And as a mother, I feel like I'm doing the right thing here. It's very difficult. And there is still a chance. This isn't set in stone. It's just the likely outcome is going to be that he isn't born alive, and I understand that. And so as an outpatient, I'm going to return to my MFM doctor to the hospital every 2 to 3 days for monitoring. I'll come back on Monday, and they're going to keep checking his heart and the fluid. It could basically get in other parts of his body, his other organs. Considering it's around his heart already, I think his cause of death is going to be hydrops, but specifically from his heart stopping. It's not going to work with the fluid buildup. But I'll continue to be monitored and continue to get my blood pressure checked, and we'll keep looking at him and see what happens. I don't expect it to take very long, considering the fluid more than doubled since Tuesday, and it also has spread to other parts, other organs of his body now, and I don't think there's much time left for him. And so I want to focus on being comfortable and not feeling stressed, because if I'm stressed out, then of course he's going to feel that. I do believe there's a connection to what I'm feeling and what he can feel. And so if I'm resting and at peace, it'll make his end more peaceful too. I think that's going to be it for today. I'm at peace with my decision, and it feels like the right thing to do. I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel like I'm giving up on him. I'm just trying to make things easier. And this is the easiest thing to do, is stay home and let things happen naturally as God intends. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. I'll be back to make another video tomorrow. Bye.